Hey guys, sorry for interrupting. I'm Looney Evans Jr. alongside
Jesse Torres. That's gonna change.
This is episode 42, and
I just thought about that again. Good.
So this is episode 42. Last week, what you saw was a preview of what may happen in the future with Jessie and her sister Jennifer. They're calling it Sister Sister. So it wasn't a part of the Sorry for Interrupting podcast episodes, but we wanted to give you a taste of what may come soon with both her and her sister, because when they recorded their own episode a couple episodes back, it got such great feedback from people, and I think more people will enjoy that type of content coming from two females. You know, even though this is what we do is great, but something that you and your sister have is different than what we have, you know? So I told Jessie, hey, why don't you try doing an episode again about this hot topic, this whole entanglement thing that was going on with Jada and Will Smith.
And I think it was great to have my sister here where we could relate, not that me and you cannot relate to these things, but where we're seeing it in a different aspect, and it's two different perspectives, right? And two different scenarios where we both were in a situation.
Yeah.
So it's great, and I'm excited to see what's coming for us. So yeah.
Yeah, and also too, you see a little bit of a difference in our background. We don't have the backdrop. We actually haven't had the backdrop in the last couple of episodes. And if you've been listening, you already know a lot of changes is happening. Obviously, we've just got engaged and we're planning on getting married. And
that's what my excitement was about my name changing.
And, we're going to be moving in together. So there's a lot of changes going on. And also, too, Jessie just graduated from massage therapy school, which is huge. And that's what we're going to get into today, is about supporting others' dreams. And I know when Jessie first mentioned it, and we've talked about this before in the past, but this is now the actual topic. Like, when she mentioned it to me that she was thinking about it and how she wanted to pursue this, I said, go for it. If this is something that you want to do, go for it.
There was no hesitation on your side. Like, there was no, like, babe, are you sure this is what you want to do? Yeah. There was no, it was just, go. Yeah. Do it.
I think that's important when your spouse or your significant other, your partner, or even like a best friend or family member, like when they come to you, they're confiding in you because they trust you. And in this aspect, Jessie trusted in me enough to say, hey, like, she was not worried about what is he gonna think, how is he gonna react, does he feel, I don't know what you were thinking, but I know some people may think like, does that person feel that I don't got my life together, so I'm still trying to figure things out. I believe people still, even into their 30s, 40s, 50s, they probably still haven't figured their life out. It's just like when people go straight from high school to college. That's what happened to me. I went to college for business management. I did 1 year, and I was like, this is not for me. And then I went for film.
And not so much about not having it all together, even at 30, 40, 50, only because you're trying something new, but just because I have my career. I work in the medical field, so it wasn't like I didn't go to school for it. I did. But this is something additional to it, where I'm like, I wanted something different. I wanted something, so it wasn't that I wasn't established or I didn't have something there. It was just adding on, and you were so supportive of me, and you weren't hesitating about, can I do it? How's our schedules going to work out? Because we actually, in the beginning, and I think we said it in the very beginning of our podcast, how our schedule has been shifted. Like, we were only seeing each other every other weekend. I was in school, so then there was times that I had school on the weekends too. So our time wasn't, it just now recently that we were having more time, especially with the pandemic happening. Where we spent more, where we spent more time together. But before, it wasn't. So that could have been something where he's like, I don't agree because we're not going to be together all the time. No, you were very supportive of it.
I wouldn't be selfish in that way because, even because it was like 7 months, really.
Yeah.
There are schools that do 12 months, 15 months.
7 months what?
7 months that you were in school.
No, 11 months.
I thought it was 6 months. Didn't you go in November?
No, I went in September.
whatever.
It was
Who's
supposed to be.
counting?
It was supposed to be 10 months, but because of the pandemic and not being able to go to school, then we had to do an additional month. So it was from September to July, which is 11 months.
All right. Well, listen, man.
September,
This is why
October,
I left
November,
business school.
December, March, April,
She's
May,
counting
June,
with her fingers.
July. Yeah, 11.
But I feel that it was the short term for the long term. Like,
Yes.
if we're gonna make this sacrifice short term, it's gonna benefit not only us as a relationship because it'll bring us closer together, but it will benefit her. If it makes her happy, then I'm all for it. And I feel that in this journey, it was hard for you because one, the time away from us, the time away from the kids, and then you're working. You have to travel an hour to go to school, then an hour back. Sometimes falling asleep behind the wheel, and like then you get home, you gotta find parking. Then you gotta wake up early, take care of the kids, and then go to work. And that was a struggle in itself. So I'm very proud of you. I think that you doing this, you going through it. There were a lot of times where you wanted to give up. A lot of times where you're like, oh, I can't do this, and you will cry and you will get
No, I'm getting
frustrated.
emotional now.
No, I'm being honest here. This is not to make you cry, but this is how Jessie is. She cries for anything. So she really like went through it all, and I wish I could have done more because I remember when we went to your graduation. I think the director, she was saying for the family members that like helped you study and stuff like that. I was like, that wasn't me. I didn't help you do anything. I was just like, this is what you want to do. Go for it. I didn't help you in that way.
But you didn't help me in that way, but you were very helpful in other ways where you were, even times where you had, you stayed with the kids, and just overall you were very, very helpful, very supportive, very like, even when I had to do the research paper and you were kept telling me like, make sure you get it done, or like, there was times where I was slack because I was just done and over it. And where you may not be physically there, being there like, to study or anything like that, but just your push that you, even when I was trying, like when I gave up, not gave up completely where I said that's it, but when I was already getting to that point where I was fed up of the Zoom calls, 4 hours on Zoom, and I was just like, babe, I can't focus, I can't do this, I'm so over it, like I literally am over. The support that you gave me, that meant so much more to me. So you not being there in that term where she was saying like helping study, but you were there to push me and keep going, like having me keep going with it. So that means a lot. And it's like the support of my family, you especially, so
No, it's and that's the whole thing about supporting, and it's not like just saying, yeah, go ahead, do it. Anybody could tell you to do that, but then actually like being there for you and talking you through some of these things, or even talking to you on your ride home, even though it was late. Like, there are a lot of these little factors that I feel if you're gonna support them, you got to go all the way. And then from time to time you ask them how they're doing, how school. You have those conversations because that partner, and I would assume this is how you were thinking, like you want to know that your partner is interested in what you're doing.
Yes, and you know what? Talking about that, right? You didn't need to be involved or even listen to me because this is not your thing.
No,
right?
no.
But there was times that I needed to vent about school, about the people, about just me being there, just anything in general. And you being there to listen to me, to let me vent, and then to also give me your advice and the way you're thinking of it, because I'm in my feelings, I'm in my in my feelings, in my mood. But for you to shift that around for me at times where you'll distract me on something, or even where make me laugh, you'll send me stuff like of dogs and like shift me off of that. That is amazing, because I know that's the support that I need. And you were there, you were doing just that, where you mentioning that is like, wow, like now I see the end of it because I just graduated. But during that time was so hard for me, and it was just very hard. Like at one point I'm just like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Like I know why I want to do it, but it's just like there's so many challenges and struggles to get there, especially doing things through Zoom, because I'm more of a visual person. I think I mentioned this before. And
this is massage therapy.
Exactly. It's like you have to be hands-on. You have to. So I feel that I didn't get the proper hands-on education that I could have gotten if it wasn't for the pandemic. So there was times where I'm just like doubting myself, like, would I be a great therapist? You know, but the awesomeness of this is that my learning experience doesn't finish here only because I graduated. Like, now working in the field, once I'm licensed, I'm gonna be learning and I'm gonna be taking more classes just to educate myself more into the field.
Yeah.
So
No, I think now that you've made it this far, you've graduated,
excited.
it's the tide has turned a little bit, because as she was graduating, I was picking up something that I wanted to do for the longest time, and that Jesse has been trying to push me to do and very supportive of it, and then I just pulled the trigger on it, and that's streaming, live streaming video games. And I've always been a fan of it. I've always been a fan of video games. It's always been something like, see, people look at it as like, oh, it's a child thing, right? Like, you're playing games, you're wasting your time. I always looked at it like a way to escape reality and enter a different world. And I felt this is an opportunity for me, especially in this pandemic, to escape what we're going through and to, have time pass and also entertain and just have fun. And man, yo, you wouldn't even know. There were times legit where I'm like, screw this. I don't want to do this anymore. I was already halfway there. I purchased some of the stuff, and Jess was just like, no, you've made it this far. You got to keep pushing. I did so much research, so much videos, watching on YouTube,
Like, he would
reading.
stay up late.
Yeah, I was breaking
late
night and just frustrated.
Even having headaches. You were like, your moods would shift.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, at this moment, how I see the bigger picture. I see, because just as supportive you were of me, I cannot just be like, all right, well, then you want to give up, you give up. I can't do that. Like, I want to be there, and I see the even from like when we first started, you're like, oh, I like, I like Nintendo, whatever. And I remember getting you for your birthday
the Game Boy case for your phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the way that he described it, I'm like, I love that. I love that he could remember his childhood. And if you guys know, I don't really remember like a lot of stuff that happened like in my childhood. So for him to have that piece to bring him back, I'm like, that's everything to me, and that's like his happy place. So I'm like, why don't I want to see? Like, I cannot not want to see that of you. So me pushing you, and you're having your difficulty times where you're just like, it's not coming together, and you just want to give up. I need to be that support system for you. Like, if I just saw you to give up, you wouldn't go to where you're at now.
That's the crazy thing, right? Like, I believe when you're watching this is later, but I just became Twitch affiliate. So what that means is that now I can actually make money online streaming video games. And yes, I just started. It's only been 7 days. I've only streamed for 7 days. But leading up to it was very difficult, like I was stating earlier, because of all the stuff you have to go through. It's not just turn on a game, turn on a camera, and that's it. No, there's so much more to it, the technical stuff. And I'm not going to break it down, but it's very frustrating, getting the camera, the lighting right, the green screen, the software, the computer. It's just so many things, the audio, so many things. It's so overwhelming just talking about it now. You're probably like, I'm never going to do it now. It's not to discourage you.
It's not.
But I do want to thank my friend Alex and Peter for pushing me through this, because
guiding you.
Yeah, we've been playing games this entire pandemic. We actually got closer because of it, playing video games all the time. And Peter's also a streamer too, so he guided me even more, because I'm learning from him. He took the first steps before me, and we were talking about this for a while. Like, yo, I want to stream. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, all right, in my mind, I'm like, all right, you do it, and I'll just follow you. And I did, but I had to take my own path too. He could only do so much, And finally we did it, and now I'm streaming, and I'm enjoying it. And I can say that if it wasn't for my support system, I probably would have given up when I wanted to, because I get to the point where it's like I'm a perfectionist. So if it's not the way that I envision it, I just already want to give up and be like, forget it. And there's so many things in my life that I've gotten to where I started something, but I never finish it. I go full throttle, whether it had been making beats, producing music, DJing, photography, videos. Like, I get into it. I'm there. But I never take that extra step. And I say, you know what? I'm 33 years old now. I'm not getting any younger. You know, if there's something that I really love doing, I better put all my focus and just go straight for it. And it's great when you have that support system behind you to push you forward, especially when you're about to fall or give up, like me or what Jesse did. You know, it's not easy. No one ever makes anything alone. There's always that support system. If someone said I did this by myself, they're lying. Someone somewhere pushed them. Someone guided
You're
them.
right.
You know, and I feel like if there's no one around you to push you, you do have to push yourself, and I think that's the hardest part. But I guarantee you, no one's ever made anything alone.
Yeah, and just hearing you excite me, like just the story behind it, right?
Yeah, man.
Because
Stressful.
it's just,
I'm still stressed out. There's so much more I want to do.
yeah. But the thing is that even you want it to be, you know, you're a perfectionist, so you want everything to be perfect and
Yeah.
everything, right? I think it's also a teaching moment for both of us, where we're working in the relationship, we're working of how in a stressful moment, how are we working together to communicate.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of where he's frustrated and I'm here like, how can I shift that, where I have to be respectful to his feelings. I have to be understanding, but also lift him up to the point where it's like, you know, okay, I get it. It's not working how you wanted it, but we're going to make this work, you know? And this happens with our podcast. This happens in just our daily life. And just, this is my thing. If we're bettering ourselves, I want to be as supportive as possible. Because if you're not happy, then I'm not going to be happy. And the same thing, vice versa. If I'm not happy, you're not going to be happy. And so that's why the support system has to be very, very tight and close. Because, you know, we're about to get married, right? So how is it that I won't support his dream, but I want him to support my dream, and vice versa? So I think it's just the beauty of, you know, having that support system and leaning back and having the understanding, like, that other person knows my goals. So even though when I want to quit, the other person's going to push me like, no, you're in your feelings. You could be in your feelings. I understand it. But you know what? You have goals that you want to meet.
You know, the question I want to ask the audience is, do you support your significant other? Do you support your partner? And if you do, how do you support? Leave it in the comments below.
Yeah.
And the other question is too, do you find yourself struggling to support someone else because they're not supporting you? Yeah. You know, so these are questions you may want to ask yourself, or, you know, maybe want to have a discussion with friends or whatever about this support system. Supporting is really easy to do, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, and you know what? Another thing is, like,
Probably just your time. But it doesn't
some people
cost you
also
anything.
think where, no, because then if I support them, then they're gonna level up and I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, like, God created all of us and gave us a gift, and it's for all of us to level up in our own ways, right? There's a quote, and I can't quote it now, but where it's
Doesn't
like,
surprise me.
in our lifetime, like our whole entire life, right, we are able to level up to where everybody can. But because people are so greedy, that's where the challenges starts like crumbling
Yeah.
down, because you're just like, no, who wants to go up? But my leveling up is not probably like becoming famous, right? And yours is like, oh, but I want to do. I'm like, I could support you in that. While you go up, I'm also doing my own little stuff in my own ways where it lifts me up. I don't know if that makes sense, but in her
head it does. No, but you know, I have a lot of talented friends, a lot of creative friends, and I always support them. I try to push them out there. I try to give them a platform that they didn't have before, if that was making videos or taking photos for them. And I feel that if more people were like that, more even friends, you know, you can help boost up their confidence too, and they can actually reach their goal. But like you said, I feel that people are maybe envious and maybe in denial of it, like they don't want to see them succeed. But I'm so I'm so proud of the people that I know, because I know that they work hard for what they have, and they worked hard to get to the point that they are. But I know that they have potential to keep moving forward. So I try my best as a friend to push them forward to get to where they want to be, you know? And I don't expect nothing back. And that's the other thing too.
Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it to expect it
to get something back. You do it because you want to. So like me supporting Jessie wasn't like she better support me when I decide I want to do something now. It's just like, listen, this is what you want to do. I'm gonna support you and help you get through this. And and then if it comes to me, fine. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that too.
But the beauty of it encourages me to want to even do it more because I see how supportive you are of me.
Yeah.
But
then I'm not to do it because you're expecting.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And that's it. You have anything else you want to say?
No, I probably do, but.
Oh God. Well, anyway, guys, thank you for coming
supporting
back.
us.
Yeah, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for coming back. And if this is your first time here, consider subscribing.
Yes.
And say your line. Like, comment, and subscribe, Jess.
Oh,
that's your line.
Like,
please.
comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
Yeah, so you get notified when we post new videos. And that's it. This is our story.
And we're sticking to it.
Peace.
Bye-bye.